Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
Across the streams of hopes and dreams where things are really not. Come along if you can. Come along if you dare.
Have a good one. Cheers, guys.
Side of your mind, but please realize you'll probably be surprised.
I don't know how to use a gun.
You look down the barrel. You line up a second. And not until you're ready. You put your finger on the trigger and you shoot.
Where'd everybody go?
What the hell is going on?
Oh, God.
Are you okay? Can you tell me your name?
Lucy,
Why are you in Bushwick?
I live here. There's like a whole army out there that's just killing people. Do you know what's going on?
They declared martial law. Not just here, everywhere. I need you to help me.
I can't do this.
5 seconds, okay?
1, 2.
The balloon was recently intercepted by government officials.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another movie review. This time we're going to be talking about Bushwick.
Texas is the scene from the United States. We didn't anticipate so much resistance.
They think we won't fight back?
There were supposed to be so many guns.
Welcome to New York, stupid motherfucker.
Some people know better than to stick around in a war zone. Helicopters, tanks. You don't remember the 70s.
The U.S. Army is evacuating people out here. We can get out of here.
It's our neighborhood.
My boys are tough.
We need to stick together, but we need to go now. We're not gonna make it, are we?
Make it one block at a time.
Directed by Jonathan Millet and starring Dave Bautista as well as Brittany Snow. The film was about a former U.S. Navy medical corpsman and a young graduate student who form an unlikely alliance during the invasion of their city by a mysterious, heavily armed militia. After both are injured during the fighting, they have to work together to rescue family members and escape to the U.S. Army's extraction point for civilians. So yeah, being a big wrestling fan, I know Dave Bautista. I watched him a lot, in the 2000s, and onward and stuff like that. And I've always been happy for him, with the way he's branched into films, all his success with, the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's sort of, I'm not going to say he's on the level of The Rock at this point, but he's sort of growing like The Rock. I mean, I think he's getting increasingly better as an actor. So I'm pretty curious to see where his career goes, going forward. But yeah, this movie I was curious about. I really like the premise of it. It reminded me of something sort of like, like Red Dawn. I hadn't really seen much of the original film, but I actually did quite like the remake with Chris Hemsworth and Josh Peck. I actually thought that was kind of enjoyable. I haven't watched that in a few years though. And this is definitely sort of a controversial premise for a film, especially once you find out who this militia is composed of. Apparently it's other states that are trying to separate from the country. And you think, okay, that's never going to happen, right? But even Bautista, he did an interview, I think, last year or something, because the movie was filmed in 2015, but it wasn't released until 2017. Even he said it's kind of scary because it actually seems semi-possible now. And it does, with the way people are at each other's throats nowadays. But either way, whether it's from the same country or whether it's more of a Red Dawn thing, I think it's definitely an interesting and exciting premise for a film. So I was intrigued by it on the concept alone. To see Dave Bautista in this type of scenario, I thought it was going to be pretty good. And while there are definitely moments I enjoy, and there's the film style I actually do really appreciate, overall I was a little bit let down by this movie. Dave Bautista, why don't we talk about him right away? He gives, like I was kind of saying earlier, I think his best work is still on the way. I haven't seen Hotel Artemis yet. I haven't seen him in Blade Runner 2049. Maybe there's other movies of his I've missed. But yeah, his best work's still on the way, but I think he gave a pretty capable and respectable performance in this one. Although there's not a lot of time for the actors or the characters to really breathe in this movie, which I guess is both a pro and a con, because the way this movie's filmed, it sort of fits with the chaotic nature and story of the movie. At the same time, that plays against it, because there are times when you want more, kind of slower moments. You kind of want to take a breath and, get to know these characters and care for them a little bit more, which does sort of happen as it goes in a kind of slower process. And there is a scene towards the end that Bautista and Brittany Snow share, and it's actually, fairly competently acted. But, I kind of wanted more of that. But at the same time, the film style is what I kind of liked about it. It's filmed in a way that it pretty much follows them around as they go. There are really very few cuts, which is actually kind of cool. Made it feel sort of realistic. It's definitely not like a Hollywood action movie. It's definitely different than that, and I really appreciated that. Actually, that's one of the things I enjoyed. Now, it was written in part by Nick D'Amici, who I've seen quite a bit of his work. Particularly I loved his film Stakeland, which he co-wrote. He also starred in both the Stakeland movies. The first Stakeland is one of my all-time favorite horror movies, and he also did a number of other projects. We Are What We Are, Mulberry Street, which I reviewed recently. So he's a talented writer and actor. He doesn't appear in this movie as far as I know. But there are some narrative choices in this one that I feel like a lot of people didn't like, and I'm kind of mixed on it, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes here. But from what I read, it seemed like he just did the screenplay, so he didn't necessarily, create the story or what happens in the story. He just sort of handles like the acting direction and how things are done scene per scene. He didn't necessarily decide what actually happens in those scenes. So it's not his fault if he didn't like the movie. But nonetheless, it was cool to see how he is involved with this one. But yeah, so the whole movie is about them trying to reach this extraction point. Okay, well, I guess before we get to those narrative choices, the rest of the acting is fine as well. Brittany Snow, she does a fine job. I guess I just read on IMDb originally Jane Levy was gonna be in a role in the movie. I don't know what happened, if they decided to recast her, if Jane Levy left for some reason. But I really like Jane Levy, Evil Dead, Season 1 of Shameless, among other things, Don't Breathe, of course. So I think she probably would have done a bit better here, but Brittany Snow doesn't do a bad job. She felt natural in the role. I thought it was a good fit for her as well. The only acting I have a problem with in the movie is pretty much everyone else. We don't get a lot of people in this one, but particularly her sister. I think her sister's name was Belinda, played by yeah, Angelica Sambrana. She's sort of, I guess, a comic relief in the movie, but I didn't really care for her character. I didn't think her character fit, so that's probably part of it, because she's high as fuck when, Dave Bautista and Brittany Snow get to her. Bautista's name is Stoop in the movie, by the way, and she's Lucy. But when Stoop and Lucy get to her, she's high as fuck, and I know that'd probably be the case with some, so she's very unaware of what's going on, and that was kind of funny for a couple of minutes. But when things got really serious, and I mean really, really, really serious at the end of the movie, I didn't think she quite delivered when she was trying to be more dramatic in a serious way. It was a little bit cringy, but luckily she doesn't get a whole lot of time. And it's kind of unbelievable that she... I don't know. Before I get into spoilers, overall, I'll get into spoilers after I give my rating here. That's how I've been trying to do it lately anyway. Overall, I thought it was a film with a really great premise. Some of the acting is pretty competent. I did like both Bautista and Brittany Snow overall. And, there's a couple of good moments, and I really liked how it was filmed, actually. Even though it got a bit repetitive with that, sometimes it would have been nice if they had, like, a break, and then just kind of went to the following around with the camera. When they got back on the streets or something, I don't know, break it up a little bit, but still I did enjoy that part of it. But there's some narrative choices I'm kind of mixed on towards the end, and I feel like it didn't really deliver as much with the characters as it necessarily could have. So yeah, overall, I'm giving this film a C+, maybe closer to a C+, actually, because there's a lot I did like about it, but just some of the stuff sort of kept it from being as good as it could have been. So yeah, why don't we get into spoilers here? So I do make it pretty damn close to the drop point, and then there's that one fairly well acted scene I told you about where they get to breathe for a minute. Bautista said he was looking for his family, but it turns out that was never really a thing. Yeah, Stoop said his family died during the 9/11 attacks, and I told Lucy he was going to Broken just to get rid of her because she didn't think he'd go with him to there. But I was glad she stayed with him. So that was actually a good scene. Probably Bautista's best scene that he got in the movie, besides handling the action scenes and stuff like that. But then he is killed by a person when he goes to the bathroom because she's the kid. It's like a young kid too, probably my age or younger. She shoots him, just out of being scared when he opens the door, and he dies right there. And now that, it feels like kind of a jip, I guess. Yeah, big guy Bautista, he gets shot once by this little girl, and that's it. But you get it, there'd be random things that happen like that with this type of scenario. Because you thought Bautista was going to die in the movie, like self-sacrificial and like a blaze of glory type of thing, but it happens there, and I guess it kind of worked, kind of didn't. But then a bigger issue from people comes when Brittany Snow and her sister do reach the landing point. Her sister's kind of like shot around the leg area, and Brittany Snow or Lucy goes back for her, and Lucy ends up being gunned down and killed, shot in the head and everything. So yeah, but Belinda, the sister, she somehow avoids all the fire while mourning Lucy and gets pulled away and brought to the extraction. So yeah, a lot of people felt ripped off because both the characters died before actually getting there. Some appreciate the realism of that. I can kind of see that too. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be a very happy ending with what was going on in this movie. So I appreciate the realism of it. But at the same time, come on, the sister made it, but not Dave fucking Bautista, not Drax the Destroyer, and Brittany Snow, but Belinda. So yeah, I kind of feel, I do feel a bit unsatisfied that neither of them made it. That's just kind of how it is with a story if that happens, but I can understand what they're doing, I suppose. Let me know what you guys thought about that ending. So yeah, that's what I think about Bushwick. It's definitely one maybe I'll need to watch again at some point, because there was a lot I liked, there was a lot I admired anyway, or appreciated, but besides that, I don't think it quite reached its full potential. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.